Okay, so it's not necessarily what I found, but what's in document 982, which they are addressing the Rule 11 motions, and the argument that Wayfarer parties' first amended complaint lacked factual allegations sufficient to support their claims, were therefore legally unreasonable and factually baseless. That was a quote. So I'll read that again. The quote is legally unreasonable and factually baseless. Okay, so what they're saying is the Wayfarer parties' first amended complaint lacked factual allegations sufficient to support their claims, and that's why they were therefore legally unreasonable and factually baseless. And that's from documents 223 and 230. So then you go further down. They cite all of this stuff about the Rule 11 motions, and then they come back towards the bottom. They say, fourth, the Sarowitz and Abel testimony ignores other evidence uncovered in discovery, which demonstrates that, in fact, there was ample evidence to support the defamation claim against Reynolds. A document produced by Lively reflects Reynolds. There's a major redacted section about 3 sentences. Friedman declared Exhibit A. Reynolds also produced documents in this action pursuant to subpoena. Those documents show that, among other things, Reynolds, and then there's another at least 3-line redaction. In the middle of it, it says, Friedman declares Exhibits B through C. Reynolds told, and it continues to be redacted for 3 more lines. And then it says, Friedman declares Exhibits D through F, and the rest is redacted until it says, Friedman declares Exhibit G. Reynolds also remarked to redacted line. Friedman declares Exhibit H. The evidence also demonstrates, and I don't know, I was just thinking, is that declares? Somebody can correct me. The evidence also demonstrates that Reynolds overtly attempted to interfere with Baldoni and Wayfarer's relationship with WME. Reynolds, redacted, on the Wayfarer parties. Friedman declares Exhibit I, Emmanuel has since acknowledged responsibility for firing Baldoni from WME. In short, the Wayfarer parties' claims against Reynolds were not, quote, factually without foundation, end quote, docket 971 at 1, but were in truth supported by Reynolds' own written words. For the foregoing reasons, the Wayfarer parties respectfully request that the court strike Lively's letter and accompanying declaration and deny the related motion to seal as moot. If the court does grant leave to Lively and Reynolds, the Wayfarer parties respectfully request the court to grant them leave to file a fulsome substantive response to the letter within 2 weeks. So basically, this letter from Friedman is saying that, hey, Lively's team said before, and I quote, that this was a factually baseless claim. And now they're saying that based on what came out of the testimony and through discovery, is that there is a complete ignorance of the fact that there was ample evidence to support the defamation claim against Reynolds. And that Lively produced a document that reflects Reynolds, and then whatever is there is redacted. And then also says, Reynolds also produced documents in this action pursuant to subpoena. And those documents show, among other things, that Reynolds, and then there's that big redacted section, and also says Reynolds told, and Friedman with the exhibits D through F, and also Exhibit G, that Reynolds also remarked to. So they're saying that Reynolds, there's documents and there's statements through discovery and through the depositions Though it may not be coming from a deposition of Reynolds, it's coming through discovery, one, and then two, the depositions from Jennifer Abel and Steve Sarowitz. And the reason why this could potentially derail the whole claim from Blake is because the original claim was that Wayfarer was acting in retaliation to what Blake was reporting. So her claim is predicated on the idea that she came forward with these SH complaints, and then Wayfarer, in response, was retaliating against her for those actions. But what this does, because of the timing, is it shows that Ryan was actively taking action prior to the CRD complaint, prior to the opportunity, the window of opportunity for Wayfarer to be seen as acting in retaliation to Blake. Essentially, what it does is it puts Reynolds in the position of being the moving party. It puts Ryan in the position of escalating and retaliating against Wayfarer. And so kind of like what Harvey Levin, why does that sound wrong all of a sudden? What Harvey was saying in the Two Angry Men podcast is that when he was talking about the unclean hands situation, and that potentially the case could be thrown out because if in fact it does come out that both parties were engaging in this like PR smear campaign, and they were both reaching out to the different news agencies and doing the same thing of putting spin on headlines and whatever, that the judge could just look at it and be like, you guys are both doing the same thing. Done. Like, this isn't even a case. Essentially, what's coming out of this is a similar situation where Blake is claiming retaliation, but this paints a picture that actually Blake and Ryan were retaliating before she comes, out with the CRD complaint and is like, they're retaliating against me. Well, if we're going to be upset about retaliation, let's not engage in retaliation. And so the judge could look at it by either of those two stances and be like, there's not a case here. Like, are we being for real? So that's why, and let me make another post.